and welcome to Villa TV and to Matchday Live. It's a quick turnaround of just 4 days for more action at Villa Park after Aston Villa got back to winning ways with a 3-1 convincing victory over Brentford on Wednesday night. This time it's basement boys Southampton who roll into town. Bottom of the league, only one win in the Premier League so far this season, and they are facing a revitalised Aston Villa. It's going to be no easy task whatsoever. My name is Kate Tracey, and I'm being joined by two former villains, Ian Taylor and McInally. Ian, you've timed this to perfection. Our first day inside, so nicely done.
To be fair, I've been avoiding the outside broadcasts. But no, it's fantastic. Always good to be here with the big man.
I was going to say, you and I dressed because we expected to be standing in the rain.
We weren't expecting to be revealing the undercoat.
I could lose a stone and a half sitting in this jacket, this jersey today. But yeah, lovely when to be. Well, the good thing is, and Ian and I have been speaking about already, in a certain amount of way, the game today carries as much importance, if not more, than the game on Wednesday evening, just because we did the business on Wednesday and we take on a team that are bottom of the league looking to get anything they can out of the game. The weather is just simply atrocious and the boys are going to have to deal with that. And I hope it's not so much more of a leveller that Southampton think they can come and nick something here, because this is important for us to get another 3 points today.
And that's the thing, is that you never can have any room for complacency in the Premier League game whatsoever. We saw that with Sheffield United last year, where we thought, OK, Aston Villa could have the chance to be top of the league over Christmas, but came unstuck against Sheffield. So that's a bit of a learning lesson.
Well, the thing is about the Premier League, we're old enough to remember the draws and coupons and all that kind of stuff. But, no game's a banker anymore. No game's one that you can look to and think it's going to be 3 points, an easy game. So, and today's no different. And on any day, a Southampton side can turn you over. We've got a lot of changes in our team today. They'll have looked at the game on Wednesday and thought, there's certain players are playing that have got a game plan. And they'll look at the team today, and that game plan's probably gone out the window. Yeah. But no, it's we've got good enough players to come in and do a job and get the 3 points today.
Yes, now you talk about team news. We're going to give you team news. It is pretty breaking at this stage. But as Ian said, Aston Villa with a whole load of changes, though, to their starting 11, as we expected. So we'll show you a quick graphic then of today's lineups. So in goal, Emi Martinez, despite that slight fracture to his hand, still in goal. Ezri Konsa comes in at right back because Diego Carlos is in the centre of that defence alongside the returning Pau Torres. Ian Maatsen gets his start over Luca Dean today. Boubacar Kamara and Yuri Tielemans in the double pivot. John McGinn, Morgan Rogers and Leon Bailey will be providing the feed through to John Duran up front, who gets his start over Ollie Watkins. In terms of Southampton, they've had their own bit of a turnaround then of late in terms of their formations and lineups. Lumley is in goal. Harwood, Bellis, Wood, Gordon and Manning make up the defence. Bree and Walker Peters, Dibbling, Downes, Fernandez and Armstrong and Cameron Archer up top as well, of course, formerly of this parish. But Alan, though, in terms of Aston Villa's lineup, we were expecting to a large extent a few changes today, but we've got a whole load.
Yeah, I would imagine, listen, this is an eye on midweek. It's also an opportunity for them to play the players against the team that are bottom of the league. I mean, Ian's absolutely right. This is no given here at all. But you're giving players the opportunity to prove that they should be starting on Tuesday night. That's what. If you're a player in the dressing room right now and you're tying your boots, you're like, I'm giving this plenty. I was going to say I knew that Ezra was playing it right back because he just told me, and I thought I can't say anything. I can't say anything.
Embargoed info.
So when he said to me, I went, "Well, what's the thing?" And he said, and I was like, "All right, okay, well that."
What did he say?
Nothing.
Oh. I'm playing right.
No.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. Things like that as an ex-player, even though we're on the TV talking about it, where I wouldn't divulge rather anything. But the bottom line is, even for him, and I don't know whether even he arrived. Woke up this morning, I don't know whether the gaffer said to them the team yesterday or not. He may have been, actually. Yeah. I would imagine, with those kind of changes, you're probably you want to know in advance, not just turning up to the gaffer, having a little bit of lunch, and all of a sudden you're not playing. So he probably told everybody Friday evening. But I have a problem with none of it. And John Duran playing today, I think, is fantastic. Ollie will be gutted, but Ollie will play after 70 minutes today, and with a bit of luck, bag a goal anyway. So there's plenty of positives, and I think it's just the manager being and doing what he has to do. Is keeping things fresh, keeping things upbeat, and giving somebody the opportunity. Maatsen I really do. I know that, like Matty Cash the other day gets forward and gets a goal, and Deeney I thought did really well as the game went on even further. But I think I like Ian Maxim. Generally I do. I think he gets forward and I think he's a willing runner, and that might be a big thing for us today, especially if they only play 3 at the back with 2 wing-backs.
There are some notable appearances as well, Ian, today. Leon Bailey having his 100th Premier League match and Boubacar Kamara his 50th Premier League appearance as well.
It just shows you how many football matches there are for these players, because
Incredible.
they rack up the appearances so quickly. It's unreal. But no, fair play to him. 100 games, it's fantastic.
And he only signed at the start of the season, so it's amazing how many games.
Doesn't it feel like that? Like you say, the way that they've racked them up in no time.
I was looking at some of the stats and just in terms of, because the manager actually was talking about the games we played and said, we played 5 games in 15 days. You know, it's like every 3 days you're playing, every 3 days you're... Now, I used to not bad. Training I didn't really mind. I quite like training, etc., etc. But the boys now will probably do almost nothing and just prep for the team you're playing against and hopefully get enough rest and recuperation to take you into the next game. Because it's not as if you're running around down the tree or 2 miles away and back. That work's all being done. So I think that's another reason why the manager's made so many changes today. And like I've said, give somebody the opportunity that, listen, it's there for you. It's there for you. At this football club, we have a manager that if you're doing well in the training and you do well when he brings you on, he'll give you an opportunity.
Now, confidence will be high for Aston Villa again after that brilliant performance against Brentford in midweek, Ian. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. What were your main takeaways from the game?
For me, it was well needed. With the run that we were on, everybody looked at not just that game, but this game as well, as 2 games that we can get back on track with. And Brentford, I thought, was going to be a more trickier game than it actually was, because they were in a good run of form, and but they've been atrocious away from home.
Yeah.
So
1 point on the road.
Yeah. So no, it was a good game for us to get back on track. And to be fair to the guys, they went out there. First half, I thought they were fantastic. Got the 3 goals, and there was just no looking back from that.
Which, incidentally, if you and I had been playing the game the other night against Brentford and we're 3-0 up after 35 minutes, whatever it was, we're like, where's the team that would play Brentford when they're at Brentford? Genuinely.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and incidentally, as they get even at 3-0, they kept the ball quite well at times, got the goal back, and I'm thinking, I kept on looking at the clock.
Yeah, if they got another one,
72 minutes,
trouble, I know.
78 minutes, 84 minutes of it. Well, we should be okay now.
Yeah.
But having said that, their goalkeeper was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, he was unbelievable. So we really should have had a handful, even though at 3-1, like I think Ian's absolutely right, it was a huge game for us and a necessity that we won the game for sure.
And talking of those goals, your favourite, Morgan Rogers, came back with that
I didn't have to grab him by the lapels today.
No, and it's been well documented that Morgan Rogers is Alan's favourite. So we're going to have a look at this goal now. Alan, talk us through this.
Well, he does. Well, I had actually said on commentary that himself and Ollie Watkins need to have a partnership. They need to know where each other are. They need to look for each other. And if Ollie's got the ball, sometimes Morgan has to run towards him to almost make him give him the ball and clip it in. But this is more like it. I thought his control of the ball was better. Yep. I thought he moved the ball quicker out of his feet and he didn't get caught in possession. That, for his position, is absolutely vital.
Just that little bit of movement to step back and get the ball and just whip it into the top corner. But I love the fact that he's dyed his hair. Got a little bit of...
I'm going to give him pelters for that.
You've got that confidence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That little bit of arrogance. I dyed my hair like that once.
Did you?
Yeah, and I
did. We will find photographic evidence.
I did.
Hey, don't say anything, but don't tell him it's fallen out. He hasn't noticed.
The worst thing was my hair was more noticeable than my performance. That's what was in the newspaper the next
That's
day.
the only thing. You've got to make sure that your performance better.
But I just like that little bit of a character.
And even Ian talking about performance there, I think he knows that he dropped off the peg a bit, genuinely, because he had been so good, talking about running with the ball at people, etc., etc. In fact, what John McGinn did the other night for one of the goals was drive and make them make a foul, either that or something's created. I think Morgan got that back the other night there, and I expect the same. You know, every time we see him play, I expect him to get better. There's one thing I will add, and yes, I like him because when you and I were his age, we had the lot. We had our future ahead. We had big games to look forward to. We were going to be football players and get to the highest level we possibly can. A year ago, he was playing at Middlesbrough. So don't forget that. And I'm being hard on him because I'm like, hey, you, come on, let's go here. This is Aston Villa. Forget about what happened before. But he's only been here, I'm saying here, a year?
Yeah.
Not a year.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we're talking about somebody that was in loan, or was he signed for Middlesbrough? Yeah. Whatever he was, he's now an Aston Villa player, and he's now almost a starter for Unai Emery. I mean, that is a transition in the terms of time that even Ian and I probably weren't like lucky enough to get when we ended up at a big club, unless you're signed as a senior pro. So he's done fantastically well, but every now and again even I've got to pull the reins in and just give him a little bit of slack, because it's not going to be great all the time. But then again, if you set that kind of standards, I'm like, come on, kid, let's go.
Yeah, we've all got short memories, haven't we?
Very much so. And this game moves so fast as well that you do forget where he's come from. Now, you talk about his partnership between Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins. Of course, Ollie Watkins was part of a second goal. Well, he was the entirety of the second goal because he won the penalty, Ian. He then stood up and scored the penalty as well. So this is where he won the penalty at this point, which in itself is a huge skill to have.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's a fantastic ball by Bailey, to be fair. Gets himself in front of the defender, who just clips him. Many were calling for a red card here, but he gets the penalty.
I don't like that Ian red card for that. I'm all right
with
it.
No, I know. I'm all right with having the penalty.
It's his first touch. I don't know whether we're going to see it again. Watch this. Well, you don't see that. He takes it with his right thigh, which stops the ball coming across him, which he would have went too far over. And then, but then he's round in front of the goal, the defender. And then the defender's all over the place, by the way. He's got absolutely no chance and pretends that. And then, obviously, there's a bit of pressure here.
Bit of luck. But there's enough on it to take it in the corner.
You can see he kind of puffs his cheeks to the fans at this point, because we weren't entirely sure who was going to take this penalty. Because, of course, Yuri Tielemans took it, because we've lost Douglas Luiz, who was our penalty taker. Yuri Tielemans had it saved against Crystal Palace. But is that something you like to see? The fact that you've got your striker then standing up after winning the penalty, taking his own penalty. And yeah, it didn't have that much power behind it.
Yeah, I don't know about you, mate. But I always think your striker should be taking the penalty.
I can tell you a story right now. I was a striker for this football club and loved every bit of it and managed to score a lot of goals. I wasn't in the top 5 here. Gordon Cowans, unbelievable football player. I mean, right and left foot. Even the goalkeeper was like, I don't know what foot he's taking it with. David Platt, Stuart Gray. I think maybe even Spinksy was in front of me, for God's sakes. Either that, Graham Taylor was like, don't let him score any more goals because he's bad enough as he is. But certainly in terms of if you're a striker and you're confident, yeah, I think you're in the thing. And by the way, I could add another 2 teams, and I don't think I was in the top 10, whether it was at Celtic or Bayern Munich. So yeah, taking penalties. I took a few penalties. I missed one. For Bayern, and I was never asked to take another one.
Oh,
and it's that, because it's genuinely such an important part of the game in terms of having somebody confident enough to go up and strike it. And I'm glad. And by the way, if we get a pen today, Ollie's on the pens. No, he's not, because he's not playing. It'd be interesting who takes a pen today. It would be. It's got to go with the captain, John McGinn.
I wouldn't want to get in his way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. But we talk about that, and penalties being it's its own skill. I mean, even the great Messi, one of his very few weaknesses, if you can even call it that, was yes, he scored penalties, but he's also missed plenty in his career as well.
It just shows you, incidentally, that regardless of the self-confidence in Ollie to take the pen and score. At 1-0, it's a massive thing for us to go 2-0 up there, genuinely. And it was a big moment in the game, and it gave us a bit of breathing space. And then, like you said, he puffed his cheek out because he knew just how important it was. And, that was
most of it's just about having the bottle to take it.
Of course it is.
You can take them all day long, all week long in training. You stick them in the top corner.
Yeah, we never missed in training, did we?
I know, yeah, and that's the thing. Hardly anybody will miss in training, but come the time in front of all these fans, when the pressure's on, that's when it makes a difference.
The mental capacity of it. And mentally, we had the breathing space then because, of course, Matty Cash chipped in with the 3rd goal. This was all before half-time as well. And our media team caught up with Matty Cash on the back of the weekend result.
Good to see you. We got to start with Wednesday night's victory over Brentford. How good did that feel?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to get a win after a bad run of games. Results, I should say. I think we'd played well in some games and not got the result we'd wanted. So last night was all about getting a result and a decent performance as well. So yeah, we're really happy.
And you must have enjoyed getting on the score sheet. How was that one?
Yeah, it's been a while, to be fair. I'd say over a year now since I last got on the score sheet. So I want to try and do it as many times as I can and be involved higher up the pitch as much as I can, because that's where I enjoy being, as well as obviously defending. A kiss to seal it off.
You've touched on it a bit, but how important was it to kind of stay positive during that run of results and then picking up the 3 points last night?
Yeah, obviously it's never nice when you when you lose games and you go on a little sticky run. But it just shows the character and mentality we have in the group. Just stick together every day. We do the same things. The manager's brilliant with that in terms of being consistent and being on the same level every day. So yeah, it was all about that really, just to stay the same, do the same things in this day in the football. The consistency and the level of the teams is difficult to dominate games all the time, you know, especially when they come so fast. You have to be fresh, you have to be alert, and yeah, sometimes difficult. So yeah, little runs like that pick you up and stuff like that, and obviously we're really delighted to get the result last night.
The European clean sheets have been a talking point. How do you kind of transfer that as a defender to the Premier League? Is there a difference?
Yeah, I think there is a difference when you're going from European football to the Premier League, definitely. I think obviously in the Champions League and in other European competitions, you're playing against the best teams there is really, so the level's really high. Although in the Premier League you come up against every team and it's always difficult. So, but yeah, it's definitely different, and obviously they come quick and fast. You know, in the week we're literally playing every 3 days now. So sometimes you have to just be ready. You have to be fresh and ready to go.
Speaking of playing every 3 days, you've started our last 3 matches. How's it feeling to get a good run in the team?
Yeah, good to be fair. Yeah, I feel good. I feel great. It's obviously annoying to pick up little injuries and stuff, but now I'm feeling a lot better in my body, a lot more strong, I should say. Although I always have, it's just sometimes it's unlucky to get a little injury when you don't expect it really. So for me now, it's just about being consistent and trying to stay fit and being available for as many games as I can, because the most important thing in football is obviously being available to play on the pitch and being consistent with it. So. Yeah, at the minute I feel good, to be fair. I feel really good, so hopefully long may it continue.
And one of those games was obviously the Champions League against Juventus. It was your debut. How was that on a personal level?
Yeah, it was. I was glad it finally came, to be fair. It's been a while. Yeah, no, it was obviously a great... It was always good to play in games like that and at the highest level, you know. Playing against teams like Juventus is... Since I was a young boy, to play in the Champions League is a dream come true, really. So I'm delighted to have done that, and now I just want to keep kicking on and try and play as many as I can.
Kicking it forward then, Southampton on Saturday, back at Villa Park. Chance to record successive home victories in the space of a week. How's that going to feel?
Yeah, it's important that we try to do that. Probably should have stayed over at Villa Park. The game's so close. But yeah, no, it's important at home we make it a difficult place to come. I think last year we went on such a good run at home, 15 games unbeaten, yeah, and it was a very difficult place for teams to come, and we need to try and get back to that. I think that's the next challenge, to obviously focus on every game as it comes, but to be very consistent and hard to beat at home. Starting off with clean sheets, I think Emery Martinez will thank me for saying that, but that's how you win games, by being strong at home and consistent and keeping as many clean sheets, and then letting the boys up front get the goals. And I'll hopefully chip in along the way.
Yeah, great to hear from Matty. And it was really great to see as well, Alan, wasn't it? Because, of course, he's been plagued with these just little annoying injuries throughout his career, and notably at the start of this season. But the last 2 games, he's been brilliant.
Yeah, he's been vital for us. Basically, it's not just been brilliant. I just think his willingness to get forward. I mean, him and I played in loads of teams, and if you've got a right back that wants to go over the halfway line, then see you later, go on, bomb, and it gives us an option. It gives us an option for that cross-field pass, whether it's coming from left full-back area or from Powell coming out today, or for John McGinn, or wherever in that middle of the, you know, for anybody that's in the centre circle to play one over, and Matty's bombing up. Very, very good. I mean, I remember speaking to him. In fact, I said to you, remember he did his hamstring. Can't remember, he was out for about 3 weeks or something, and I saw him a couple of weeks later on, and he said, I'm fine, you know, I'm good, I'm really good, and it hasn't affected him. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, I'll ease my way in, but he gives you 100%. Yeah. He just gives you 100% all the time. I've already got a big bet with him on for the summertime about his golf, because apparently he plays off scratch.
His golf.
Yeah. And I saw his swing the other day, and I'm really like, don't know whether I want to play him.
I was thinking this, and you two were discussing this
so I said to him,
back. I was thinking he is in dangerous territory here, Alan.
I said taking your money, mate.
Honestly. Yeah, I said if he gets 8 goals, then I'll play off scratch with him. But So at the moment in time, I'm kind of all right. But when he scored the other night, I was like, oh God.
There's one. There's one on the board.
But listen, I'm making a bit of light of it, but he's an important player for us. But regardless of that, defensively is what I want him to be almost the best at, because after all, he is a right back.
Yeah, he's a good defender.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing for me is he gives us that balance on the right hand side, and it enables Emery to play at centre back.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of him playing right back at all, but it's needs must, isn't it? But yeah, I much prefer when Matty's in the team.
And we talk about his defensive prowess. Of course, he came here as a winger, but he does have that goal threat as well. And as I said before the VT there, he managed to get the third goal against Brentford in midweek. And it was a really well-worked goal as well, Ian, because it was a very small margin that he had to work with for this goal, but yet he still managed to slot it in.
But I mean, you're looking at it now, and it encourages you that he's got the. He just wants to get in the box. Yeah, he just wants to get in the box. He wants to get on the end of things. Hits it nice and sweetly, and he's chuffed. I know his mum and dad were up there as well.
Really
at
brilliant.
the end of that. So yeah, he's just chuffed to get on the score. I know Matty, and he loves being at Aston Villa. He loves the club, and he like Matty says, he gives 100% every single time. He's got his knockers, but for me, he's the kind of player you want in the team because he gives everything.
Yeah, I think most of the time with Matty, to be fair to him, I think he's quite a realistic guy as well. You know, I think he knows his
limits.
Yeah, he knows his limits, but at the same time, I think he tries to drive himself. And if you see that the little montage we had there, he stays in the box and doesn't really think defensively because we're that far up. Sometimes when the ball's in the left-hand side, I want Matty to be thinking, I'm not a full-back, I'm almost a winger then. And if you trap the back post, he'll get a score. By the way, that was the only thing that Mark Flecken in the Brentford goal did wrong that night, because he almost kept everything else out. And it was a great goal, because sometimes you just try and get it on target, and if you don't deal with it, it's a goal. And that's exactly what Matty did. And he deserved it. And instances like that, and Ian will tell you, when the big man used to drive from midfield and get in the box and score a goal, he's like, I'll do that again. Isn't it? Because you're like, oh, hang on. So it's picking your right time. You can't do it all the time. You just can't do it all the time, but you've got to pick the right times, and at times, you know, make yourself available, and then you get your rewards from it.
I do think as well he buys into what the manager wants for
Yeah.
the team, because tactically I think Matty knows what the manager wants, and I know the manager, he knows that Matty's got that. And tactically, you know, like Nedeljkovic, he said publicly that he's still learning about the tactical part of the game, and he doesn't quite trust him yet. Because I've been thinking, you know, when's that boy going to get a chance? He, you know, and add that balance on the right hand side as well. But tactically, he's not quite got it. But Matty has.
And perhaps Matty had that extra confidence to be able to bomb forwards on the right-hand side, because in defence, Tyrone Mings we had back into the fray. His first Premier League start since the first day of last season. And Ian, it was pretty much a man-of-the-match performance.
Yeah, I'm really pleased for Tyrone, because he's been out such a long time. He's had injuries after injury, and not just short-term ones either. So mentally, you've got to be so strong when you're out of the team for that length of time, and for him to just be back on the pitch, I know he's elated, and to give a performance like that as well was fantastic.
It was, Alan, wasn't it? And as Ian has said there, the fact that he's been able to come back, 2 ACLs that he's had, but also complications in the most recent ACL, the surgeries that he had as well. From a mental perspective, how much of a toll must that have taken?
It's impossible, honestly. I'm going to go way over the top here and say that's almost the best I've ever seen Tyrone Mings. Genuinely. There was one little on the little side graph on the strap there. It says one defensive block tackle, and it was right behind me now, shooting at and I think it was Damsgaard that had the shot on target, and he made the block. He threw himself and gave away the corner, and it was absolutely everything that you need to be as a centre back, but want to be Cruyff and Beckenbauer and play the ball. But every now and again, you need to make sure if you have to throw yourself in front of the ball, then that's exactly what you have to do. And I thought he was unbelievable the other night. I thought he led by example. I thought his play was fantastic. And you actually just had a little clip about it just on the intro when we come in. The ball was like a magnet to him. Good centre backs headed the ball out. That's what he did. And he covered for people and made sure everybody did the right job. I thought he was unbelievable. Now, I say it from a standpoint of when I hurt my knee. I was out for over a year, and I didn't come back. I finished when I was 30, 31, when I was over in Germany. And it's a difficult thing to do, to go in every morning, go to the treatment room, go to the gym, and you're training on your own and you're watching the lads outside, it is tough. So I can't praise his fortitude and his mental capacity to deal with the wanting to come back and be a football player. Him and I don't know what we would have done if we were not football players. Tyrone Mings is a football player and he knows how good he is, and to get back after the injuries and setback he has was unbelievable. And the other night there, Wednesday night, was the biggest pat in the back I can give him for just proving to everybody he's still got it.
And Unai Emery spoke about this in the press conference yesterday, and understandably so. He was full of praise for his centre-back.
Tyrone Mings, the most important of him is his personality, his capacity as a player, less central back, strong. He dominates more or less to play under pressure Premier League. He didn't play this year in Premier League until Wednesday, but he played in Champions League. And of course, it was the first time he played. And I think in the dressing room as well, he's a very important player. He's one of our captain. And I appreciate him as a person, as a captain, as one of the captain. We have 5 captain. One of them is Tyrone, and as a player.
Yeah, great to hear from Unai Emery, and understandably so, heaping praise upon Tyrone Mings, who isn't starting today, but we might get to see him at some point, but understandably so, being rested for now for today's game. Now, in other news, Diego Carlos visited a football camp known as Soccer Skills, or Soccer Schools, I should say. Now, he had a surprise for one very lucky attendee, Ethan Hall, who got a nice little surprise, and definitely a moment he is never going to forget.
Ethan, there you go.
Ronaldo Gaúcho, Thiago Silva, Kaká e Cafu. Those are my 5 best players.
How long did you guys last football?
I started at 15 years old. Now I have 31. That's 16 years. 16 years and play football.
Now, we're going to give out a mascot prize. It's well deserved for one of you who all the coaches have selected, who has come to soccer schools before, and they're a real big Villa fan.
Hey geezer.
All right, Oz.
Let's play Villa Park.
As long as I'm left wing.
Please, Lord, just let me play for the Villa.
Pass. Who knows high line practice? To your right. Go to the right. Hold the line, Rob.
Unai, I've got this. I'm ready to play.
Who's that?
Do you want me through the middle or on the left?
Sharon! Have you seen my Preds?
Number 11, the Prince of Darkness.
Who's that? The biggest frontman to ever come out of Birmingham.
This is the Emery Martinez Masterclass.
We go all the way next time.
Rob the Villa!
Villa!
Up the Villa!
Up the Villa! Up the Villa!
Up the Villa! Up the Villa!
Aston Villa, after 13 years away, return to European football.
Come on, we've got a game to play.
Leo Bailey for Aston Villa. Again, it's 1-0. Still walking. Oh, what a finish. What a fantastic finish that is.
Oi! Go and play up your own end.
Come on, love. Leave him alone.
A Brentford new record. 15 home wins in the league on the bounce. It's incredible.
Welcome back to Matchday Live with myself, Kate Tracey, alongside Ian Taylor and Alan McInally. Now, Aston Villa's under-18s were in action last night in the FA Youth Cup. They were taking on Accrington Stanley at home. Here's Jack Woodward to talk you through the action.
And it remains 0-0. Here's Jamaldine Jimmo Aloba. Good work to get into the box. Hits it across the face of goal. And it's in from close range. And it just had to be him. Ben Broggio having a brilliant goal. And he scored Villa's first in the Youth Cup. Here's Ball, and now with a pass now towards Mason Lee Kocher. Will it go in? It will. It's 2 for Villa. They've got the cushion now, the insurance of a second goal. Good block, decent defending that from Bentley Way. Out comes the keeper, tries to get there, can't do, and then it's in on the follow-up. And Aston Villa have a third goal. They've got numbers forward here of Villa, could easily be a four. Jimmo Aloba carrying the ball, he's got Broggio to his left. Ben Broggio takes it in his stride, left-footed, hits it low, and it's into the back of the net. And Villa have another one, and it's Hemmings. Here come Villa again. Oh, what a run this is. Oh, that's an absolutely brilliant goal from George Hemmings. Take a bow. It's the goal of the night. His second, Villa's fifth. Is Hemmings, slots it forward. Out comes the keeper. It should be 6, and it is. Into the back of the net from Luca Lynch. One of the subs on target. And they are sailing through to round 4 of the Youth Cup.
Yeah, a really impressive display, wasn't it, from the youth side there. A 6-0 comprehensive victory over Accrington Stanley, Alan. And it just goes to show everything's going in the right way for Aston Villa, even from the youth level.
Absolutely, and it's important, incidentally, when you get to 17, 18, 19 and upwards, etc. And I know that the under-19s will go to Leipzig and have an experience there. You know, they've done, where have they? They've been to, where did we go? We went to Bruges. Young boys, and it's just a brilliant experience for them. And those young guys there, I mean, I know it's only Accrington Stanley, and I don't want to be disparaging in any way, but our lads are obviously, you know, they look as if they've given them a right doing there, and that would have been a lovely little boost for the lads, you know, scoring 6 goals, etc., etc. I think you said one of your mates' boys plays in the team as well. So yeah, everything going in the right direction, and there will be that little, hopefully that little diamond in one of those teams that is going to eventually hopefully get his opportunity to play in the pitch behind me.
Yeah, and they probably took inspiration, Ian, from the senior team as well, because they went into the halftime break 3-0 up, 3 different goal scorers. So we had Ben Broggio, Mason Kocher, Rodrigo Fortes, and then a brace of goals from George Hemmings before Luca Lynch got the final goal. So a whole load of different goal scorers as well.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a great experience for them, because I know when they do travel to Europe, they actually watch the first team game as well, and just to travel and play against these teams, watch the first team play. The experience is second to none. Yeah. But to win games like this, to win competitions like that as well, it's fantastic for the boys.
I mean, when you and I were that age as well, I mean, I don't know where you were.
I was working.
You were. Do me a favour and clean that window while you're at it.
Pour the hot air we're talking. It's time to steam it.
I can remember when I was 17 in Scotland, I played in the under-18 league, and we got to the final of the under-18 Youth Cup that year as well against Celtic. You know, where Charlie Nicholas was playing and all that. You know, the good players they had at Celtic at the time, and it was like feeling like a football player. I mean, it gets that
the crowd and all that.
And you're like, there's people paying to come and see you. What are you talking about? So the lads have an opportunity if they keep playing like that to step up, and of course, like I said, there's the opportunity to play in Europe with the under-19s.
The thing is, here now as well, you'll get the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Good enough, because the manager has faith in.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who it is, what age they are. He has faith, and he'll play players.
And we've seen a few of them training with the seniors as well, and seen them around Bodymore Heath and amongst the senior team. So they're getting that experience as well. So they're getting a whole range of different experiences. Right, back to today's game though. Now, Unai Emery in his press conference yesterday was talking about today's opposition, Southampton, as well as his opposite number.
Really, I appreciate a lot some teams, some young coaches, how they are being brave, playing, showing different ways tactically. And one of them is Russell Martin. And for us, it's a challenge how we can compete against this team, more or less at the beginning, knowing their capacity to keep the ball possession is one of the best in Premier League. And I know with my experiences, if we are not being organized in our press, we can struggle. And we can struggle against one team like Manchester City and again one team like Southampton. And I appreciate a lot how they are playing. Really, it's an example how they are building up and how they are being consistent. And of course, successful as well in their career. Last year they played a fantastic season in Championship, and now they're extending the same idea in Premier League, not getting points like they deserve, because they have not a lot of points, but they deserve more. How they are playing, but they are being very, very brave with the ball, and I really appreciate them a lot and respect a lot of Russell Martin coach and the players they have and the structure tactically they are playing.
Yes, some really interesting thoughts from Unai Emery there. And about his opposite number, Ian, on Russell Martin, because he has a very unconventional way of playing for a team that is very much at the bottom and seemingly out of their depth in many respects in the Premier League. But Russell Martin, he is consistent with how he wants them to play.
He is. I think sometimes as a manager, I think we've seen it with Unai, he's adapted the way he's played against the certain opposition. And I think Russell Martin sometimes has to think about that, because when you're losing game after game after game and sticking to the philosophy that you want to and it's not working, surely you have to change something. And as a player as well, when things aren't working, you'll be looking at the manager thinking,
I know.
we need to change something.
But surely the players, they do take chances, okay? And where was he? Was it Swansea? They played exactly the same way. And by the way, he did have a modicum of success with it. I'm maybe playing that down a bit. He had a success with it. But this is the top level in the Premier Division. And I don't think he's been flexible enough. And it's hard for you and I to sit here in a television studio, having been ex-players and not being the manager of Southampton. He has a way he wants to play, but sometimes, genuinely, if you haven't got players that can adapt to that and get it done properly, then you're going to put yourself under pressure, Ian.
Yeah, and everybody knows how they play. So
absolutely.
I just think high press, try and win the ball off them in their fight, in their last third, and it makes your job a lot easier. But he's sticking to his guns, isn't he?
He very much has been sticking to his guns, and you have to respect that in many elements. But now that we're going to the Christmas period, Alan, if they don't start to pick up points, they've only won one game. That was against Everton at home earlier on this season. Then they are really going to be cut adrift before too long.
Yeah, they are. To be absolutely honest with you, I think their destiny is back in the Championship, and I know we're not at Christmas yet, and I don't want to be in any way, play it down, but the way, if he's going to play like that and they don't score enough goals, what was are they minus 30 goals, I'm going to say? That's a lot. I mean, we're -1 and we're sitting in 8th or 6th or wherever we are. And I don't like to see that goal difference on minus at any time with any team I play in. I want to see us on a plus. But not only that, we spoke about Brentford's failure to win games away from home. I think they've gone, I don't know, you were talking about 14, 13 games away from home in the Premier Division. Not won any, oh sorry, that's a lie. They've been beaten 11, I think it was, and they maybe picked up draws in the other 3. That's impossible to stay in the league. That is impossible to stay in the league with that kind of those fixture runs that they get, and they don't get any points away from home. At home, they're better. They still don't score enough goals for me. Having said that, I think they do carry a threat, and we will have to give it our utmost concentration today.
And Ian, we were just talking there during that VT that, to be fair to Southampton, they have given a few big teams some frights. Liverpool, they gave them a real fright in some stages. Man City as well. So we can't be completely complacent against
I think
them.
sometimes, especially the bigger teams, they'll underestimate teams. And sometimes you have to go out there thinking it doesn't matter who you're playing. You're going to have the same attitude and approach the game in the same way. And sometimes, some teams will make that mistake of underestimating the opposition, and maybe they did that those days.
And they drew 1-1 with Brighton, by the way, who incidentally everybody's screaming about Brighton, saying what a fantastic season they're having. So they went to, I'm sure the game was at Brighton actually, so they've got a point there as well. If we start the game with the same attitude we did on Wednesday night, we will get 3 points today, end of. If we don't, like Ian quite rightly says, we could struggle a little bit until we hope that they maybe give us a little opportunity, make a mistake, and then we can punish them for it.
The fans sometimes have the same attitude.
Oh, unbelievable.
A lot of fans will be coming here today thinking, oh, it's only Southampton, we'll beat them.
Yes.
And, but the players can't afford to do that. They have to treat every game the same and go out there and be professional.
And one player that's going to be fascinating from a Southampton perspective, a player that knows this place very well, is Cameron Archer, who's starting. And you always think, okay, has this script got this written all over it for Cameron Archer? But how useful is that, Ian, to go back against a team you know so well, players you know so well, with that experience? Is that a useful quality?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He'll be desperate to score today. Absolutely desperate. We've both played against teams that we used to play for, and you go out there wanting to give 150%.
Well, you can only give 100%, but if you can give 101, you'll be giving 150. but Ian's right, and as a young player, remember, who thought there was there would be an opportunity for him to be one of the stars.
And to be fair, I was disappointed when he went, because I think he's a goal scorer.
Absolutely.
And I thought, there was a future here for him.
Did he go? Where did I see him? I was doing some tape. Was it Preston? He went on loan to Preston, I think it was. Apologies if I'm wrong there, I'm sure. And he looked a goal threat. He looked a goal threat, and that's what he is. He is a goal threat for them. And listen, I wish him all the very best. He was once a player here, maybe not just as much today, but he certainly, got his own foot in his own career now. He's got his own destination in front of him, and he'll be trying his best against Aston Villa today.
Now, in terms of Aston Villa, what are you really hoping to see? What do you, of course, a win, of course, 3 points.
Yeah.
But if you had to boil it down to qualities or passages of play, whichever, what do you want to see from Aston Villa today?
I don't care how we play today. I'm being genuine. I thought it was important that we looked good on Wednesday night, apart from winning the game. I think with the condition of Southampton being bottom, Ian already rightly saying we think we're going to come here and turn them over. I don't care how badly we play today, as long as we win 1-0, 2-0, 14-13. I don't care what it is, but we need back-to-back wins at home, heading to Leipzig on Monday afternoon for the game on Tuesday. So, listen, it'd be lovely if we pass the ball around great and give them a bit of a spanking. It's not going to be like that. If we manage to get 3 goals again, I'll expect us to win. But it's all about the result for me today. Genuinely, it really is.
And Alan just said there, Ian, about Leipzig and looking forward to that. And that's been something many people have commented on, that have Aston Villa been a bit complacent looking ahead to a European game. We saw that with Bayern Munich. I believe it was Ipswich before Bayern, then it was Man United after Bayern. And perhaps the Bayern game, for all that we got the win there, might have affected the 2 games either side of it. So you don't want to see that.
Do I think every manager will say they're just thinking about the next game. Yeah. But they're not. They have to think 2-3 games ahead with balancing the squad and how many minutes players are getting, because we all know that that's part of the game now. And so they have to think 2-3
How do you
games
think the game will go today, bud? Seriously. I mean,
it's about
if you pin me, I'd say we scored in the first half, we scored in the second half. We win 2-0, everybody's delighted.
Yeah, I'd take that right now.
Yeah, but in terms of how the game goes, how do you think the game will go for us?
I think Southampton might have quite a bit of ball.
That's exactly what I thought you might say.
I thought they might have quite a bit of ball.
Yeah.
It depends what they actually do with it at the end, at their end product. But I do think they'll have plenty of the ball. But I think us being us, I think we'd probably be more incisive when we've got the ball.
We might have to be patient today.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they do, don't they, though? Southampton, they have an awful lot of possession. They're not a great goal-scoring threat in the first half, as they've shown throughout the majority of the season. But in terms of actual possession-wise, they do have a good record of the percentage that they have it.
Yeah, no, I think it's just all about end product today. I think if we're more incisive when we have got the ball, which I think we will, then I think we'll win the game. And it's a cold day. It's who fancies it, isn't it?
Freezing, even in here it's freezing.
Who fancies it?
I would love to play today.
Yeah.
This is
This will be your bread and butter.
Well, because the ball's going to be skimming off the surface. You can ping the ball into each other. If your touch is good, you can. Oh, this is going to be just delightful today. Absolutely delightful.
So John Duran will be thinking the same.
Well, I'm expecting him to put somebody on his bottom today and bounce past him and smash it into the net would do me just lovely. But this is when I'm talking, when Ian was talking about Southampton there, they have the likes of Adam Armstrong and etc., and they've got a bit of pace, etc. They have a goal threat. We'll just have to smell danger, make sure you cover properly. We've still got the best goalkeeper in the world who's got a dicky finger, but he's absolutely fine. So hopefully we'll be on the right side of the 3 points.
And just on Emi Martinez as well there, because we didn't necessarily expect to see him against Brentford in midweek with that hairline fracture that he suffered, but he's back for more again today. Why is that? Is that just the measure of the man? Is that just the fact he wants to play every game despite the pain, or what is it?
Probably you and I, Emery, saying you better get out there, mate.
Yeah.
But no, like Max says, I think he's the best in the world. I can't believe that there's any questions about it, to be honest.
It's good.
It's all right when you're playing for Man City and Liverpool and being called the best in the world, but this guy has saved us on so many occasions. It's unreal, and not just at our level, but international level as well. He's been fantastic.
If you look at any level for a football player, and you look at other players, and I will both Ian and I will both do it today. We'll look at Southampton and go, I think I would take him. I think I can see it. There's been teams who we've played in this season, and even me going out and watching games, I think he could play at a higher level, etc. If there's MD watching Aston Villa, they're like, we'll steal the goalie. He's that important to them, and I think that's the biggest pat in the back I could probably give him.
Yeah, the biggest pass on the back of all then for him, and can't wait again to see him, of course, in goal and calling the shots there. Just want to have one more player to talk about, Boubacar Kamara, who we haven't actually touched upon all that much, but in the last few games, again, he's been vying for that man of the match, and he's just added that bite into the midfield that Aston Villa were lacking somewhat for a few weeks.
Yeah, obviously a position that I always look at, centre midfield, and another one who had a long-term injury, had to come back from it, and again, mental strength has been fantastic, and he's felt it. I think the manager's he's sort of eased him into the games and given him more and more time during the games. But I think Brentford, I thought he was fantastic again. Some of the things he did with the football, just to start moves off. He's one of those players that goes unnoticed, really. From a fan's point of view, he's not the most flamboyant.
Yeah, good shout, buddy. He does go unnoticed.
Yeah,
right.
But the job he does for the team is fantastic.
Yeah, and he was part of so many of those goals as well. They're just in little ways and on the turn and winning balls at you.
Okay, all he has to do is get it and give it to somebody that can pass it to somebody else. That's all he has to do.
Oh, you make it sound so simple. Here we go. It makes it.
As if it's just that. I mean, I'm not being disparaging again to Boubacar, but his play is vitally important for the way we want to play. But if he can just get it and give it to John McGinn or whoever, then I'm delighted with that and let John do the rest of it. But nevertheless, like Ian says, his job in coming back from the injury he had, looking as though, I mean, it's like signing a new football player for Aston Villa, for God's sakes. It's that important. And that position that he plays in modern day football is absolutely vital. And I think he proved that exactly against
But he's
Brentford.
one of those players that plays, he keeps the game simple, but he's always got something in the locker to get him out of a fix. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's got that little bit of extra skill that can do
and
something
by the way,
different.
he's a big lad. He's not as if he's like small person or whatever. He's a physical, like beast he is, and he's to have him in the team is absolutely fantastic. And again, it's like signing a new player. It's just been so good.
Right, lads. All I require from you now, prediction time. So, Ian, this is going to be fascinating.
I'm going to take his off him. One in the first half, one in the second.
For both for Aston Villa.
Yeah, of course.
Ideal. Do you want to give us a goal scorer? Dare I make you go?
I want Mr. Rogers to get on the score sheet again. But I think John Duran will get a goal as well today.
Hopefully so. Okay, so 2-0 win then for you for Aston Villa, Alan.
I'll go with them. I don't care if we get one in the first or the second, just as long as there's two. Listen, if it's a goal more than Southampton today and we get back-to-back wins, I think that's important. I think even if you ask the gaffer right now, he would substitute the result for a really good performance. But regardless, there's people here coming expecting to see us really move the ball quick and create chances. We created a lot of chances against Brentford. Hopefully we'll do the same today. And if we do, we should bag a couple of goals.
Right, 2-0 for the pair of you two. So we like the confidence, we like the idea of the clean sheet and also the goal scorers as well. So lads, thank you so much for your efforts. Hopefully enjoy the game then as well. Neither of you two are on co-coms duty today though. No. That is the role of Mark Regan, being joined by Gary Thompson.